Everybody, so we're back for part 3 of this cleanup. Last video you saw how I basically disassembled the rifle, showed you the condition of it under the wood. And what I've done over the course of the last few days is I've cleaned up all the metal parts, give them a good liberal amount of oil. Namely, I was working on removing a lot of rust. Well, not a lot of rust, but just decent amounts of surface rust. I only had one nasty surprise during all that. I'll get to that in a minute. But we'll just start this off by showing you guys how the stock cleaned up. I didn't go crazy with this one like I did the first one in spending, a few hours trying to clean it. I just kind of cleaned it up, pretty decently. You guys can kind of see the backside here. There's nothing wrong with it. In some of these stocks, you'll notice how the screws will kind of bust out the wood here, but I think it's okay. Let's show you the other side. The other side looks good. There's still this rough spot here that I think is just, I guess, from where they originally produced the stock. It's got a really cool grain going on here, as you guys can see. I've not done anything in terms of boiled linseed oil with this yet, but I do plan on that. Just giving it a few good coats of that. As you can see, there's no cracks in there. Actually looks really good. Looks better than my other one. So there's the stock. What you're not going to see in this video is you're not going to see the handguard. I glued it earlier. Glued the crack in it that I showed you guys in the last video, so it's drying. Actually, it's clamped together and drying right now. So just, kind of give you, I know it's kind of shiny, it's kind of hard to see, but it's the best I can do. Your H-clip here, or H-band, it cleaned up pretty good. Got some patina going on. It's got an R on there. Not 100% certain what that is. Your auxiliary or extended bayonet lug. It's got an H marked on it. Got another little strange cartouche in there. I don't know what that is. Moving along to your nose cap with the bayonet lug, or end cap. I don't know exactly what that's called. It's got an H on it as well. You guys probably won't be able to see that. Oh, there it is. And it's got another strange cartouche on it. But anyway, this cleaned up really nicely, actually. The bolt. You guys might be able to see that. There's some pitting here, here. A little bit of pitting right here and here. But all in all, bolt cleaned up nicely. As you can see, it's wet. It's got a good amount of oil on it, just so that it doesn't start rusting again. And there's a good look at our firing pin. It looks really good. One of the parts, I guess this was the bolt stop. I took this apart, cleaned it up good, oiled it really well. I think this will work just fine. It still has I don't know if you can see it, still has that leaf spring in there. Let's see, the safety latch. You noticed in the other video it did have some pitting on it. Wasn't able to get all that off there, but that's okay. I got some of the slag off of there. Took a wire wheel a little bit actually to it because it was so bad. Let's see, I have no idea what this is. This is just the end of the backside of that bolt. It cleaned up pretty nicely. There was actually a decent amount of rust down in here and on these threads, but as you can see, it cleaned up pretty good. Let's see, trigger guard, magazine housing, looks pretty good. Now, one thing I did not do is I didn't fix this bend in it, or dent. I'm actually thinking about leaving that, just cause I guess. But anyway, took the trigger apart, took all of that apart, cleaned it up really well. It actually cleaned up really nicely. There was some rust in here, but you guys can see it's cleaned up really good. There was a little bit of rust on the trigger face here. Floor plate, follower, it all cleaned up nicely. This spring had a tiny amount of surface rust. It cleaned up good. Let's see. Rest of the pieces, all your swivels, they all cleaned up pretty well. I was able to get the surface rust on the inside of this barrel band cleaned up. I've not made an attempt to fix this sling loop yet. I might not. I'm not really decided on that yet, because a lot of times you can actually cause more harm than you can good when you're trying to fix some of this stuff. Now, I was joking with Military Surplus Carbine Collector that I might have gotten a better $98 Mauser than his $200 Spanish Mauser. I have to retract that, because as I was disassembling the bolt, I took the extractor off, and when I first took it off, well, you guys can see this. You can see it is rusty. I was like, oh, I can fix that. And then I noticed right here where these two pieces join together, there was a crack. And all it took was just a little bit of force and this thing snapped right off. So there's my extractor. So I do have a broken piece on this rifle, unfortunately. I'm going to try to get in contact with Hunter's Lodge and see if maybe they got a spare one that I can purchase, or worst comes to worst, I know these can be found on the internet. They're not cheap. A lot of times they run between like $29 and $40, $50 something dollars. But one thing I did verify, sorry, I got some sinus drainage. One thing I did verify is the K98 Mausers, the extractor is virtually identical. I mean, they're almost a perfect match for it. So if worse comes to worse, I can make a K98 Mauser extractor fit. Now, on to the really important part. You guys may not be able to see this. There is a decent amount of pitting right here, about the size of maybe a dime, a little bit less. I couldn't get all that cleaned off, not without doing some major metal removal there. But you can see, well, probably can't see it well in this video, but the crest is there. It's 1953, underneath the rear sight. Looks really good. Clean that up. Now, if you guys remember, on the end of this barrel from here out was nothing but surface rust. I cleaned that up. Some of it did come down to almost the bare metal. There is a little bit of a patina here, but it cleaned up a lot nicer than I expected. You can actually, you guys may not be able to see it, you can actually see the CAI import stamp here. But the barrel cleaned up phenomenally well. So on the bottom side there was a little bit of pitting here, nothing terrible. And then the other point of contention would be right here where that H-band is, or where that H-band would be. There's a small amount of pitting here. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. But all in all, cleaned up really nicely. A lot better than I expected. And I've not cleaned the bore yet. It needs a good cleaning. But I don't think I'm going to have many issues with it really. You can kind of see where that bolt stop was in there. I've got to put that back in. That's going to be fun. But there you have it. Like I said, guys, I know you can. There's many different methods out there. Everybody's got their own. Two of the primary things I'll use is usually a brass bristled brush. Pick those up at Harbor Freight, wherever. And like I've shown you guys many times, just petroleum jelly, Vaseline, and 4/0 steel wool. It works wonders. In terms of the stock, it's pretty nasty weather here today. I didn't go through the process of trying to clean it up with hot soapy water because, well, my wife would kill me if I did all that in the house. So I just kind of took some lacquer thinner to this stock, like I did in one of my previous videos. But, oh, and I didn't show you, I'm sorry, forgot about this, the butt plate. It had a patina going on, but cleaned up, oiled up well, pretty smooth. It doesn't look terrible. And of course, the last thing I forgot to show you, my screws, they all look really good. So anyway, there you have it. That's cleaned up. One thing I forgot to mention is, you guys probably won't be able to see it, but down inside the breech, or the chamber, I need to clean this up pretty good. There is some caked cosmoline in there, but it's not bad. It's just kind of around in there and gunky, and I need to get some hops number 9 and clean that up before I reassemble all this. So like I said, only area of contention that I found was my extractor. Easy fix. Unfortunately, it's almost half the cost of the gun, or a third of the cost. But, whatever. So there you have it. Once I get it cleaned up, I'll just show probably a short video, just kind of, showing what it looks like, put all back together. But obviously, I've got to get this little issue resolved first. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, you like stuff like this, hit the like and subscribe button. And I'll try to show you more stuff like this. And we'll see what kind of surplus comes out comes in the coming days. Hopefully some cool stuff from RTI. So like I said, if you guys like this video, hit the like and subscribe button, share with your friends, helps grow the channel, and I'll try to keep cranking out more content like this. Thanks, and you guys have a great day.